There you begin to grapple with your brand. You make one mistake and you begin to say, oh, okay, let me rebrand again and all that. So it is something, when I was called upon to come and discuss it, I saw it as, I'm a Catholic by the way, and I saw it as something I have to give to ensure that we get our young people who are here, boarding stars right. All right? So I know most of us are familiar with branding. Anyone quickly tell me what you understand by branding? From your just ordinary point of view. Don't bother, you're not in a test. Just express yourself. What do you understand by branding? What do you understand by the term a brand? Okay. Good evening.
Branding is, to my own understanding, is like giving your own product a unique look or a unique feature, distinct from other products that will also attract potential customers.
Any other view to that? Yeah, please.
Branding is how you present yourself, how you sell yourself. And as a brand, you are your own brand. So whatever you do.
Another view?
I think that's something so I want you to understand. I think branding is all about you having an idea and you're trying to make it sellable by telling you what it's all about, the advantages, and the reason why you should buy.
Another, okay, please.
My name is Personal Sense. I understand brand as a repackage, something that has been. You bring it into a new future, give it back to people, and they see it in another way, and you test it and what they want.
Right, so please.
Let me say it more. Branding can be defined as packaging new product in a unique way to the audience.
Good. So let me say good attempt by everyone, but I will align with what the first, what's the name again? MC Clown said. You see, the essence of branding is basically to create what we call differentiation, to set yourself apart from the rest. Anything you're doing, they say there's a saying that says products are manufactured, but brands are created. And I'll give you an instance. If we talk of paracetamol, we have Panadol, we have different brands of paracetamol, right? But which one is the most preferred easily? You go into the pharmaceutical, you say, I want Panadol. But there are other types of paracetamols. So all those other types, you can refer to them as, okay, they are a product of paracetamol, but the brand name now is, it will be preferred one, for instance, is, some people, is Panadol. So basically, the essence of branding is to set you apart from the rest, set you apart from the consumer, your competitors. You know, because you see, the people out there viewing you have a lot of messages that, you know, cloud their minds and cloud their attention all the time. But if you set yourself apart, it will be easy to identify you. It will be easy to patronize you, whatever you do, your service or whatever. So branding helps you create what we call differentiation. And that is why we say people should take it very, very seriously. So we're going to quickly go through the slides. For this session, you will be taught what a brand is. What is a brand? All right? Some people will know this. What is a brand? I will have asked that question, but I don't have the time to take all of you around now. What do you understand as a brand? A brand is different from a product. Then we're going to look at branding. You're going to understand your target audience, because part of the problems people have too is if you're creating a brand, you don't understand the target for whom your brand is for. All right? You must understand whatever you're creating. Like for instance, if I take musician, whatever genre of music you want to go into, you must know your target. If you don't understand your audience and you're just playing a music, you know, going to creating songs and it doesn't resonate with that target, then you have a problem. You will say, oh, this song is not selling or it's not, you know. Then you have to understand what we call brand values, positioning and equity. So as you all are here, if you come into the marketplace tomorrow, you should be able to understand, create a position for yourself, study the marketplace, know what is not there that you're going to fill in the needle. For instance, let me give you quickly. When we're having the GSM companies coming to Nigeria, they didn't all come at the same time. All right? We knew they came one after the other. Airtel came, MTN came, Globacom came, Etisalat came. But some of us here, you will remember how Glo came in and penetrated the market. Who will remember what Glo did that gave them acceptance? Something we all celebrated then. Who can remember? Eh? Anyone smart enough to remember what happened then? Eh? Say something. You have something to say? Go ahead, please. Nope. Something they did that changed the landscape. Okay, let me save us the time. They came up with per second billing. All right? It was a problem then. Other networks would charge you, once you make 20-second call, they charge you for 1 minute. But Glo penetrated, the network then by charging you for the exact second that you use. People were very happy. So it's what we call branding strategy and marketing strategy. You must understand the audience. You must have a need you're trying to fill. So basically, we're going to look at types of branding. All right? There are what we call internal and external branding. If you're an organization now, for instance, you can't be doing external branding when internally your staff, your employees, cannot even be an ambassador of your brand. And we have a case in point in our country today. We want to rebrand Nigeria, but the citizens, for instance, are not in tune with that. Now, when the citizens are outside and you're saying rebranding Nigeria, those people are the same one that will say, don't mind them. Look at what they're doing. They're our country. This is not happening. So when we bring it back to yourselves now, if you start and your team start building your brand, your team members must first imbibe your brand before we, the audience, we follow suit. So that's why we have internal and external. Then we must understand the basis of creating a brand identity and messaging. All right? We normally tell people that branding is not, formerly people will tell you branding is about having beautiful logos, beautiful colors, beautiful catchphrase. No. It's part of branding, but you must begin to build your brand by the quality. Like I saw some of you rehearsing your music here today, the quality of your voice. Be good at what you do, basically. Once you set out at what you want to do and you're very good at it, everything will follow. Branding didn't start today. It started many years ago without people knowing that we are branding. Our forefathers were writing names on their yam tubers those days. Those who were good crafters were putting inscription on their crafts then. What do you think they were doing? Because they were confident about their product, they tried to create something on it to tell people who are coming to patronize them that mine is different from this person's own. So basically, you must start from working on yourself. Then, now you can come along and say, okay, I want to have this kind of logo. I want it to be like this and like that. All right? So you must understand the need for what we call branding strategy. All of this, in the art of trying to do all of said, creating differentiation, creating your own identity, understanding your audience, creating a position for yourself, is what we call branding strategy. You don't just come in and just launch a product. People who launch all the products you see out there on television, those who own those brands have a vision. And they must have studied the market, studied their audience, known who their product is targeted at. Some people you see, they have their product. For instance, when Etisalat came out, they targeted the youth. Their advertisements were speaking about the youth. You will see their ambassadors, Wizkid, what have you. So they knew that, yes, okay, this market, we're coming in a bit late, but they targeted, and they got those appeal. They got that segment of the market. Why I'm using this as an instance that for yourself too, you must know, even tomorrow you find yourself not even doing music, not even doing whatever you're doing inside the house here. But for you to excel at what you do, you must have a strategy. So that's the essence of this basic training that we have here, session we're having. Then you must understand how to monitor and evaluate your brand. Periodically, you must evaluate the brand. Is it working? Is it is my vision aligning with how, people, the feedbacks I'm getting? People are there in the organization to help you evaluate. If it's not, you can change strategy, you can tweak your strategy, and before you know it, you get what exactly you want. So it's something you do periodically. You must evaluate the brand, you know. So people, when you see a Coca-Cola, when you see an MTN changing adverts, changing strategies, working on top of their brand, they are not just carrying out an exercise in futility. They know what they are doing because they don't want to go into extinction. I'll give you an example. There was a time a brand like Nokia was very, very strong in the marketplace. We all remember that, eh? When they were the greatest, then followed by Samsung, and some other products came out and, you know, shook them off. There's this messages that went around the social media then. The CEO of Nokia came out to say that the company didn't do anything wrong. In fact, Nokia then was noted for durability. If you throw it on the floor, you just pick up your thing and walk away. All right? They were durable. The phone was working. But what do you think happened to Nokia? What made other brands to come on board and dislodge them? They didn't look at the area of sleekiness, beauty. When you hold a phone, you know how beautiful. They weren't interested in the beauty of their phone. All they wanted was ruggedness. And the audience, we have what we call changing needs. That will patronize you today doesn't mean we're going to patronize you tomorrow. Even to musicians. That I listen to a particular artist today doesn't mean I'll keep listening to you forever. If a new person comes and tickles my fancy, my choice will change. So how do you remain relevant? We have few musicians in Nigeria who had remained very relevant across the years. Why have they remained very relevant? They kept changing their strategy. They kept appealing to people. They weren't just remaining, you know, they weren't playing the same kind of music they entered, you know, stardom with. They kept adapting their music. Not a lot of people do it. Some don't do it. Before you know it, you don't hear about that musician again. You say, oh, that one, forget about him. We have new ones on board. All right? So, all of those things I've summarized. Let's go into them in details. We are trying to define what a brand is. We say your brand is not your product, your logo, your website, or your name. People will say, so what then is a brand? If we say your brand is not your product, your logo, your website, or your name, you will say, what is this man saying? All right? But I think I gave some insight into what your brand should be. Your brand should be the promises that you've given and how you fulfill it. I like to tell people, since I was a kid and up until today, Guinness Stout, the taste has not changed in my mouth, or Coca-Cola. Anyone have you experienced Coca-Cola change the taste? The taste of Coca-Cola have changed. Eh? 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 Okay, but the point I'm trying to make for you is that, is this something you could easily notice easily and say, this is not, have they departed from what they used to be? You know, there are some restaurants you go into today, you eat their food today, tomorrow you go there and say, no, this restaurant is no longer the same. So what I'm trying to tell you is about building consistency. Be consistent in what you do. Don't deviate. Don't think, oh, I'm there now. Let me just start dishing out rubbish. The day you start dishing out rubbish is the day your customers will leave you. All right? And word of mouth kills a lot of businesses. If someone is coming to patronize and they say, don't go there, they're no longer the same thing. And it will spread like wildfire. So whatever you're going to be doing, learn to ensure consistency. Now, we say defining a brand. What comes to mind when we say brand? All right? People have been wondering. And that's why I said your brand is not your logo, it's not your color, it's not your typeface. Okay? But the truth of the matter, people use brands to help them navigate today's marketplace of overflowing choices. I said it before. There are too many choices. The consumer is barraged every day. Too many options. But what helps us? You go into the market today, you want to buy shirts. Because I don't want the man that has shirts in his wares to throw all sorts of shirts at me. When I go there, I say, I want to buy TM Lewin. I want TM Lewin. And you will say, okay, we have another one. I say, no. Why? Because I know when TM Lewin was raining, I know their shirts were of quality. And if I wore it and came out, people will say, oh, this man is wearing a very good shirt. Is it not? So it has helped me in my choice making. I'm not looking just anyhow. So that is the power of branding. It creates differentiation, like MC Clown said. It sets you apart. So someone can come in and say, I want to buy a phone. Which phone do you want? I want an iPhone. If you don't have it, you walk away. You say, oh, I have a Samsung phone. I say, man, I want iPhone. You see, differentiation. Because of they don't care about the cost. People are buying. In fact, when your product gets to a point where people are buying you for class-conscious sites, I mentioned it before, you cannot be trying to create a brand without understanding your consumer. You must know who you are targeting for your brand. I mentioned Etisala targeting the young people when they came out. I mentioned the kind of, like when you see advert from Milo, for instance, you know it's targeted at children. They use children to target it. And you research them. They research that consumer, know what appeals to that audience before you push out your product. You must equally look at demographics. What we call demographics is your location. You cannot, there's some products you see in the north here that if you go to Lagos, you won't see it. Do you agree with me? Yes. A lot of products that are here that are not there. And there are some that are there that are not here. You must consider socioeconomic status. I want to develop, some people say iPhone. Yes, we know iPhone is wonderful, but the truth of the matter is that it's not everybody that can afford it. Some of us are techno favorites here too. Eh? Is it not? Because what iPhone can do, my techno can still do it for me. But the only thing is that maybe when I drop my iPhone on the table and somebody says, this man is using iPhone, he's a big boy. He's class, you are seeking class consciousness. It's not as if what you are seeking is just basic satisfaction in the usage. No. It is a point whereby you are seeking, I want to be different from the rest. All right? Now you must look at age of the people you are targeting. You must look at gender and so on. Then when we say consider psychographic, use it as a consumer insight, it's what I told you, emotions. Some people buy for class. They don't care. Somebody can say, this money for this car can buy me this car twice. I don't mind, but I want this car. All right? Somebody can buy for desire. You look at your audience's desire. You look at your audience's experiences. Okay? Now, this brings us to the core of our branding strategy. When we say branding strategy, it weaves all the things we've been talking about since. And we tell people who care to listen that branding does not happen after you have created the product or created the service. Branding starts before every other thing. As you're trying to think of what you want to create, you begin to brand it from day one. There's what we call trying to create your vision and mission. What is the vision of my company? If I start this company, what's going to be the vision? What is it going to accomplish? What's going to be the promise of my company to the people I want to create it for? What is the brand promise I'm giving out? Am I going to meet up to it? Because when you give a promise out there, you must be able to ensure that all the time you meet that promise. The day you begin to break that promise, you begin to lose it. So branding is at the heart of building your product, your service, or your organization. It's not something you do afterwards. It's not something you say. It's like a foundation of a house. You know you cannot do foundation after. Foundation begins right when you want to start building. So branding is at the core of what you're trying to do. Now we said when you look at branding, you try to develop your branding strategy. You consider your target market. You consider your product. What kind of design? Okay. What's the value? What's the quality? All right. You look at the price. How am I going to do my pricing? Am I going to make this product not to be so expensive so that, look at the kind of people I'm targeting, so that they can actually buy my product or patronize my service? How am I going to promote this my product or service? Some people create a product and they say they don't want to do TV advert. They don't even have money to do it. Maybe they want to just do flyers and distribute flyers. They don't want to go to do billboards. So you have to decide from inception, what kind of advertisement are you doing? Promotion are you doing? All right? What are your processes? How are you going to ensure service delivery? So, because you see, when people begin to complain about your service, complain about your product, maybe it's malfunctioning, it's not working, there are problems with it, your brand is dying, your brand is failing. So we want to let people understand that branding is not just having a fancy logo, fancy color. Some people go and spend time on design. Then when you are attracted and you go and pick it up, when you now try to use that product, you see that this product is just rubbish. How do you feel when you buy nonsense? You feel very bad, eh? Something attracts you, and you rush at it. When you go to home and try to say, this is nonsense. So will you ever go to that place again? In fact, when you see that product, you'll be the first to start telling people, don't near this was 419. Exactly. We've seen products since the day advent of e-commerce, when you order things online. You've ordered something, sometimes you've even paid for it. When they bring it live to you like this, I don't want to mention any platform, so I don't demarket people. When you open it, you see that, this is not the beautiful thing I saw on their website now. Has it happened to anybody here before? Okay. And so at the end of the day, you will even be discouraged to go back to that platform. You said, no, they say fake things. But once you order something and they bring it for you and say, no, you even bother. Some people don't even go to market anymore to physically touch things. They believe in some sites that, no, what you see is what you get. So, why branding is the most important investment a company can make? Even in yourselves, see yourselves as a company now. We say we are tomorrow's stars. Why is branding very important to you? And the truth of the matter is that branding doesn't have to cost a lot of money. All right? You have to consider that you're looking at whatever brand you want to own tomorrow, that you want it to be a strong brand. And I told you something today about strong brands. Strong brands have their images set apart for them. Strong brands are solvent. They have money. A strong brand can never be is not poor, because that's part of the characteristic of a strong brand. A strong brand is easily identifiable. When you see a strong brand, this is it's set apart from their competition. All right. So I've talked about, for the brand you're trying to build, what are the routes you're going to use to go to the marketplace? I told you that some people can, if you know the capacity of your brand, you may choose. Some people use print. Print is newspapers or magazines. Some people use radio. Some people use out of home. Out of home is billboards. Some people use social networks. Some people use television. Some people do digital marketing. Instagram is very powerful these days. Instagram has helped a lot of young businesses. Instagram has, likewise Twitter. That was when it was banned. We, the youths, people that you were shouting, no, you banned Twitter. Because you see, the audience you can reach, in fact, if you're there are some businesses that are just operating in one corner in their house. But when you see their image on Instagram, on Twitter, you think it's larger than life. And these businesses are making a hell of money doing the right thing. So social media, digital marketing is wonderful. In fact, for your sakes, I would advise you to embrace social media, because as a budding star or whatever, you will not be able to say you want to go to one traditional TV channels or Arise or to pay them money to. It's good, but funds may be the problem. But if you know your strategy, you can leave that and go through social media. Social media, how much is it? All right? And that's why we tell people, don't use social media for just chatting. And social media can give you lots and lots of money if you know how to use it to build your brand and to push your business. There's what we call experiential marketing. That one is another strategy to push your product or your brand. Someone can decide to say, okay, I want to do a show here now and invite people to come and experience my brand. We've seen a lot of brands do it. They will do an event and invite people, and people come and experience them firsthand. And then there is another way, one-to-one marketing. That one too is good. If you see, maybe you're a referral, maybe a member of a church, in your workplace, you belong to a social club, you belong to a professional club, you can say, this is what I do, if you don't have the money to do a lot of others. So, defining your brand now. Now, we say your brand can, apart from the fact that I'm trying to let you understand that your brand is not logos and colors, but part of building a good brand is to have a catchy name. All right? To have a catchy name, to have an attractive logo. My people will tell you that your eyeballs first eats and feeds on something before your mouth actually eats it, is it not? It's a popular saying, Abi? And that's the problem some of our products have when we export our products outside the country. So, and we've been trying to change that narrative for us by ensuring that we understand packaging. Your product may be good, solid, but your packaging is equally as important. Even though I've told you guys that you must build a solid package, make sure whatever you're offering is solid, but you must package it well. Because it's in packaging it well, when I come now, if I don't have any product or service in mind, if I just look at the shelf like this, it's the most beautiful one I'm going to take. Believing that the inside will be as good as, all right? So you must have your trademark colors, and you can see, who can tell me the colors of MTN? Easily identifiable. In fact, sometimes you don't even need to write that their name. When you go to some stores and see, this looks like this. And you can see that Glow has the same thing. You know Glow's color, have you? Mm-hmm. So, strong brands are easily identifiable. What's the color of UBA? You see how easy it is for us? So, all these things you see every day, I want you to put it together. That you'll say, because you may be seeing them before without having, a meaning towards them, knowing what they stand for. But today I'm telling you that it stands for something. That's why some of the strong brands don't get to write their name in full again. They can just put out their logo. Once you know branding, that's those people. Because they know they've gotten to that point. Like Toyota now, if you see Toyota's emblem, Abi? So that's how you know strong brand. But if a brand that is not Toyota now puts one inscription, you say, what is this? Abi? If you wonder, what is this? What is? So, your characters. It's not today you're using Arial to write your fonts. Tomorrow, when they say you use another color, Futura. Tomorrow you use Comic Sans. That's not branding. Branding, you must be consistent. Whatever you have chosen, you have chosen it, and you have chosen it for a purpose. Over time, people will get used to that. Your fonts, easily identifiable. Then a particular style, look and feel. If you want to be known, there are some artists I know, those days, lady artists, they wrap something around their hair. Once she's called Erika Badu, for instance. I don't know if anybody knows Erika Badu. You people are younger, but we, if you see her coming out, you see her with her, So people, you do things like Michael Jackson. He had his own identity. Even if you see his back without seeing his front, that's Michael Jackson. Okay? So you must begin to think of yourself. See yourself. What can I be noted for that? I don't want people to second guess to say this. Am I sure? Or. Then you must have an attitude. Brands are like human beings. When we want to liken brands, we say brands have an attitude. If your brand was to be a human being, how will that brand be perceived? In human being, we look at somebody, we say, this person is suave. This person is classy. This person is humane. This person is humble. This person is kind. All right? Is that not how we describe human beings? Products too and brands are described like that. If somebody sees your brand, will you say it's a classy brand? All right? If your brand is a human being, how will that brand be perceived? A set of feelings and values and anything you want it to have too, any additional thing. 7 components of branding strategy. 1, your brand must have a purpose. Your branding strategy you must define your purpose. Because in the task you're going to be, I hear that you've been given a task to do you've been broken into groups. Is it not? Now, your branding must have a purpose. Your brand must be consistent. Your brand must have emotion. That's number 3. Your branding strategy must be flexible. The strategy you're developing must be flexible. And why I say flexibility is, if you develop a branding strategy, you evaluate it, and it's not the way you want it, you can just tweak it a bit, okay? Your branding must involve your employee. You can't be doing building a branding strategy and you're not teaching your employees how to, we call it acculturation, how to live the brand. Your employees must be able to live the brand. They must be able to be your brand ambassadors. All right? If you, someone, maybe a CEO, you want people to see your organization as respectful, polite, people working for you, and then you're not there, somebody comes to you, a customer comes to your office, from the gate, they are very nasty and rude to the customer. Have you done well in the brand building you are doing? But today in some organizations, when the security man opens the gate for you, say, hello, welcome, so. You think that those security people just started doing it? No. Series of training. People have told them, my employees, you must know my vision and mission, and you must live it out. If you don't live it out for me, I will get rid of you. There's what we call loyalty. Your branding strategy must help you build loyalty. Once your strategy is good and customers take to your product or service, you have what we call customer loyalty. Some people, when they come and look for a product or a brand and they don't see it, even if you tell them we have other options, they walk away. They say, you don't have it. Let me try the next shop. They will keep looking for that brand they are looking for until they find it. Then your branding strategy must have what we call competitive awareness. If you are building your brand, you must look out for your competition. Who are those people that I'm competing against? I gave you an instance of how Glo came in with per second billing. Do you think they came in with per second billing without studying that there was these people, MTN or Airtel, operating in this manner? You understand what I'm saying? They have studied the market and they came out with something different. Able to run through what a branding strategy is. I think I thought the slide was more, but we'll be able to go through. Now I want us to recapture all what I've said so that you can be able to understand it very, 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 very well. What does a branding strategy do for you? A branding strategy basically helps you align your vision, okay, with the activities of your company. You must develop a strategy for you to have a strong brand. If you don't have a strategy, you will not have a strong brand, basically. And then you must define your target market. Know this now. Whenever you're trying to build a brand, you must define your targets. Okay? There's what we call primary and secondary targets. There are some people who are your main targets for designing a product or service, and then alternatively, others can equally be part of the target. All right? Call value proposition. I mentioned it earlier. When you are creating your brand, what is the brand promise you're making? What is the value you're trying to bring to the table? Because you can't just bring in a product and say, this is my product. What need are you feeling? You must be able to say, this is what I am bringing to the table. If you patronize our company, this is what you're going to get. You must have something you're promising. All right? Then you must have what we call mission and vision. Okay, you must have your mission. That's why when you go to some organizations, you see that it's written boldly. Our mission is to be the best, this. We are the best to do this. You understand what I'm saying? Then you must have what we call positioning. If there is a crowded place, create a place for yourself. Create what we call a niche market. If you just study your marketplace, there are some people, even in their layman, without going through this kind of session, you see 4 mama puts here now, where they sell food. One smart auntie comes and looks at every morning, this madam and these 3 madams, all they cook is rice in the mornings. And already people are enjoying their rice. And they've given me one small table for me to come and start selling. Is it wise for her to just come in and start cooking rice too? A smart auntie may say, okay, in the morning that woman makes rice. Okay, when I come in the morning, I will just do Indomie and egg. I will just do shawarma. It's because she has studied what is happening there and wants to come in with a difference. So you must study the terrain of what that you want to operate and know what will give you your breakthrough. Know what will give you what we call positioning. And then you must come up with your slogan. Can we go through some slogans? What's the slogan of a Zenith Bank, for instance? Who has heard Zenith Bank's slogan before? Every day, Zenith Bank is doing advertisement in your phone. Eh? Have you seen Zenith Bank in your best interest? Eh? You've not seen in your best interest before. What is MTN's this thing? Everybody know that one. So MTN is a strong brand, though. MTN everywhere you go. And do you agree to that, their slogan? When they came out, how did they come out? Say they covered a lot of places. But when these other people came out, they say branding strategy. This is what I'm saying. I want you not to see it as just academic exercise. See, think about things around you. You understand it better. MTN came out, started in Lagos. They didn't stop in Lagos. They went everywhere. So before everybody knew what was happening, people who have Econet will have MTN. They'll say Econet is strong in Lagos, but if you go to the east, it is MTN they are using. So they now said MTN everywhere you go. And they have been keeping to that promise, haven't they? So I think basically we have covered this session. I'm going to take some questions from you, if you have any. Just feel free. Anything that agitates your mind, anything that you think you want to ask, if from all these Englishes we've been speaking, please go ahead. Say that again.
My name is Peter Raymond.
Okay.
Now I want to ask that, is branding supposed to be a secret something?
Secret?
Yes, because there is this my friend that work in a bread company.
That working where?
In a bread company where they produce bread. So he left there. He don't work there anymore. So somebody want to employ him. And he said he wants his own bread now to be like Ritty's. That is the name of the bread. And the guy told him that it's not possible because there is this one person that only know the flavor to that bread.
So you give out your own secret to your competitor?
That is why I'm asking now.
Of course, if that is what you meant, yes. Do you know there's this story going out there that people don't know the mixture of Coca-Cola till tomorrow? Haven't you had it? Yeah, people don't know it.
Thank you.
And if you see Pepsi and Coca-Cola, they look alike. But when you taste it, it's different. So, in that context, yes, you cannot give your enemy gun to shoot your head now. Another question, please.
All right, thank you. My name is MC Surface again. So my question is this. Is it possible if you want to do branding without finance? Because from what you just said, I think branding basically is surrounded with finance. Because I know of one or two companies also, or telecommunication, that are operating in Abuja currently, that even people in Abuja don't really even know them. And there is I think, Intel. So does it mean they are not giving license or they don't have finance to cover a wider range?
Very good question. First and foremost, you know who owns Intel? Intel, is it not government? Intel, yes. Intel, you see, it's government. Yes. Intel. Yes, it's still owned by Nitel. You see, I think Intel, but it's been privatized, but still has the hand of government somehow. All right? You see, that's why people will say government do not have business in businesses. Government do not have business in business. Abroad, in foreign, in other climes, private sector drive economies. When you hear iPhone, it's not owned by government. When you hear Nokia, when you hear Facebook, it's individuals that are driving the economy. So it's not like, there's no way you can compare Intel, their rollout, what they're supposed, how much they're going to spend on advertising, like what MTN is doing. MTN is private. Or Airtel. These are private organizations. So the way they would chase their money and invest to big profit is different from when... Is that not why we are saying some government institutions should be government should hands off so that privates will run it. So basically, to answer your question directly, branding requires finance. And that's why you must determine the level you are trying to play. And like I said in my presentation, if you come and study the market and you see that these are for big boys, like I mentioned, techno, I'm not trying to cheapen techno by any way, they served the need and they became a strong brand in Nigeria. They came in and they looked at people who equally are of lower earnings and still gave them something. All right? With their brand of phone, they still even have the expensive ones. If you go to you see some techno, very expensive. But they still have products that are serving everybody. So essentially, branding is not just for big boys. It's just for you to know where your level is and enter, so that you enter properly, you penetrate properly. If you want to start a product now, and your product is trying to compete with bigger brands, you know you cannot survive easily, because those ones will outmuscle you. But if your entry point, look at your entry point, and look at, like I mentioned to you, I said, the way we are in this room, nothing stopping us from having Instagram accounts. Is there anything stopping you from having Instagram accounts? Are they charging you money before you open Instagram page? Then, do you know that some majority of these are youth today don't look at TV anymore? Every morning you go to Instagram. 100 million followers. Even the celebrities are using Instagram more. They don't even they don't care about TV to come and do advertisement. No. Because people are trooping on this. So, that is what social media has done for us. No matter the product you have, you can start with social media, be consistent on your page, be pushing out something that will push your brand. You wouldn't have spent much. You will have your reach, so long as your message is meaningful and impacts with people. Okay? Any other question? Please.
Good evening. My name is Freeman. And as a dance artist, can someone brand himself as a dance artist? Yes. As an individual, can you brand yourself?
You are a dance artist?
Yes, sir.
But from your brand, I can tell. From the image he's trying to create. From the image, you see, it's a very good. That was why I was saying, if I'm speaking this branding thing and using organizations, be adapting it to yourself as an individual. Look at here alone now. Your dreadlocks set you apart. Apart from my friend too that is on dreads. Is he a dancer too? Hey, you see? You see? You see the branding identity you created for yourself. You see the identity you created for yourself. This is branding you're doing without knowing. So branding, don't see it as what you have. Your personality. We are creative people. All right? In our business of creativity, creative people like to show something that you can't be saying you're in creative business and be wearing suit and skinning your head and looking like a banker. If you're the way you are now as a dancer, you have depicted it from the personality you're carrying. Now, if I see you, I may not be sure if you're a dancer, but I will know that you're an entertainer. I will know either you're a musician, you're a dancer, or someone that does creative things. I won't liken you to a lawyer. Yeah? Do you look like, if you tell me you're a lawyer, I will question it. So branding really has a place for you in your profession. I will ask you to look more. It's not, apart from your looks alone, there are other things you can do for yourself. You know, you can equally research dancers in other climes. Look at how the portfolio. I'm even impressed that you guys are a crew and you try to create this identity for yourself. So anybody that sees you say, "Ah, the same mama hold them," okay? That make your brand stronger is for you to be really good dancers. That is the bottom line. Like I was saying before, you can have all this look, and when you come and dance, and if you're not impressive, I'm like, oh, okay, they look it, but they're not. We've seen in some of the reality shows, some people have the body, they have the look of good musicians, but when they hold the mic and sing, say, this person disappointed me. Yeah? All right? So, bottom line is, for us in our business, be good at what you do. Then every other thing can follow. Your razzmatazz, your craze, the way you want to be seen. All right? Any other question?
Okay, so my own is not a question, but from what you just said, that means branding can also be how you present yourself to people, like seeing this guy now.
Yes. Okay. Perception. That's branding is
All right,
perception
thank you,
too.
sir.
Any other question from anywhere? Okay.
My name remains MC Clown. This is because when you mentioned about products where you have a nice packaging, then you receive these products like what we said, what I ordered versus what I got, and you found out that you didn't get it right. Either the content was not great. Now, if this company decides to come up, this I'm trying to talk about maybe repackaging or rebranding. I don't know, but maybe you get my question. If this company comes up properly again and they are now doing it well, maybe there was a glitch in production. If the company now does it well, what would you advise such company to do? Either should they change the name, or how would they go about gaining the trust of the general public?
You have answered the question yourself. You see, the point is, that's how we tell people. Branding is like the foundation of your house, okay? You know, if the foundation of this building is not good, every other thing that's on it, obviously, all right? So when you hear lots of organizations do what we call rebranding, it's not the same as the branding we've been talking about. The branding I've been talking about with you now is how to start and get it right from beginning. But when you see people, they say they are rebranding. There are various reasons for rebranding. For instance, what you said, if their perception does not suit the vision they have for themselves, out there they say their product is, they will try to change the image. And it's not out of order for you to say, let's give ourselves a different name. Because that name that I bought, that I was disappointed in the product, if I go to that market and see it, I won't buy it again. Sure, you know. So it's better for me to go knowing that you are the one, and then it's easier to pick another one. Then there are sometimes organizations do a mistake. Maybe they've been noticed to be doing good things, and somehow a glitch happened. That organization can be bold to say, we received the feedback from our consumers that this happened. They come clean. That's why we like people. They come clean and say, no, those set off. We take responsibility and we apologize. And they do some even go as far as saying, if you return it back. I've had a Nokia phone that I had one time that had an issue, one of the trendy ones. And they told me, so I was thinking of even buying another phone. And somebody told me, no, go to MAP. They have a service center. If it's so, they will take it from me and give you. Lo and behold, I walked in there. They took my phone from me. Though it took a while, they told me come back in a month or so. And they gave me a brand new phone. And I'm using it today. And I'm happy with them. So you must try. There are several ways. That's for mistake that wasn't intentional. Organizations that do mistake unintentionally has a way of making sure they show the consumer that is not who we are. It was just a mistake. So there's a second chance, okay? Any other question? Can we, if there is none, can we break into sessions? I hear they said there are groups for tasks. Let's quickly take a task. Let me just see if what we've been saying here made any sense.
So the first clan, just during release, you can call any of the clan as you wish. Okay.
Oh, that's nice. You guys have done something. Yes. So let's quickly settle down. I have your list already, so I can call you one after the other.
Naira, 500,000 naira, and 300,000. This August, history will be made. It's the Catholics Are Talented reality TV show. From the 15th to the 22nd August 2021, 20 talented contestants will be admitted into the CAT house and undergo a life-changing experience. Top 3 contestants will emerge, winning 1 million naira, 500,000 naira, and 300,000 naira respectively, with other consolation prizes. Tune in to watch the show on Catholic TV and AIT, on GoTV and DSTV for live stream and daily updates. Follow us on all our social media platform on Facebook and Instagram at Catholics Are Talented. To vote for your favorite contestants, visit wowcatholic.com/CAT vote. Each vote costs 50 naira only, and you can vote multiple times. Voting starts 1st August and ends 22nd August 2021. Powered by wowcatholic.com and CYON Abuja. For sponsorship, partnership, and advert, call
0803-798-7223
or 0806 0057836. Catholics Are Talented reality TV show. Your talent, our treasure.
So who's presenting for you? Huh? You don't have a leader on anchor? Okay. So, Peter Clan, please, let's have your attention, please. All right, give us your presentation. Yes.